And we'll move on to item number 8 until you're back.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call for Mr. Kim Hogard and Tommy Crosswhite to come forward to request permit and permission to hold a shotgun golf trial run October 20th, 2012.
Oh, heck, I thought it was a shotgun wedding.
Those days are done.
That's next on the, that's coming.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Madam Chairman, members of the commission, secretaries, and everybody up here. We represent Estancia Valley Shriners. We were authorized by the Shrine to be an official group this year. We have been working on a project called Shotgun Golf for over a year and a half, and we keep improving as we go along. I understand you did get a booklet?
We do have information in our packet, sir, in regards to the proposed event. I don't know about a booklet, but we've got a pretty nice flyer and some information and sign-up information.
Yes, okay, you have it.
You're welcome to present in anything else that you might have, but we do have the mission statement, shotgun golf, staff requirements, important considerations, and then some proposed layouts as to how you would set up, and a target, and then the sign-in sheet, scorecard.
Okay, that's basically everything.
Except I delivered a letter of intent.
And we have that right here, thank you.
Okay. As Shriners, we're always looking for ways to drum up charity. As a Shrine Club, not only do we do our 22 hospitals throughout the United States, now we are a worldwide organization, but as a Shrine Club, we do local charities. We've talked to the town about a year ago, a little over a year ago, and we were trying to put something together to help pay for the swimming pool. Because of all these different little things that pop up, we could not get it going. We've worked real hard on it to make sure that we are completely safe. This particular event that we're asking for is a trial event. And that's why there's only nine balls and 9 shotgun shells. We have got certified range officers. We have range rules. We've just been going through everything. If you kind of glance through this, you'll see it. And I can answer probably your questions better than trying to ramble on.
Can you explain the game to us?
Can I explain the game to you?
You gotta hate golf balls. First of all.
The easiest way to explain it, and why it came about is there's about 10 things that adults like to do. And eliminating the first of the obvious, the first 2 of the obvious, we think we've got 4 that attracts the attention and bring people in. 1, people like to golf. 2, people like to shoot. They like to have fun and enjoy themselves with a nice dinner or something afterwards. That's where we're coming from. In addition to that, this is a way to generate a lot of money for charity. And to tell you how much and where, I shouldn't really go into that at this time. But this particular one is designed to break even and get the response of everybody in the community. Torrance County, or more important, the Estancia. Really, there's nothing here to draw people, to bring them in.
Except the auto parts store.
It ain't working.
So this is why we picked this particular time to do this, is because the Rotary Club, pumpkin chunking out here, and they bring in a lot of people. You have a nice parade. This being our first year as an official club, this will be our first official visit from our potentate, our president from the shrine. He will be bringing more Shriners, more vehicles for the parade, and we needed some way to start gathering people, and that's why we picked this time. Once this is done, I'm sure it will build on its own merit. We want to see where we can go with it. And that's why the time that we wanted to do. Okay? Let's go back to the game itself. Many people like to go to a driving range. So the guy just stands there and hits the ball. Where does it go? Out in the field. Well, the other guys like to go skeet shooting. And so they go shoot skeet. All we're doing is replacing that skeet, or our clay pigeon, with a golf ball. And making a contest out of it. That's it in a nutshell. You're working in an alley, or I'm going to use that term as an alley, for a foursome, complete team. There are 3 targets, 90, 70, and 50 yards. The golfer tries to shoot for these different targets. The man with the shotgun tries to knock his ball out of the air. Okay? What else?
Your point system, if he hits the ball. Yeah. It's what, 4 points?
Yeah. If the shotgun operator blows the ball up, he gets 4 points, and various things like that. That's just little mechanics. But the idea was do something that we can bring to Torrance County. Eventually, hopefully, we can work with pumpkin chunking, and not only draw people for pumpkin chunking or this or that, come up with some more things that the city has, 320 acres out west of town that really needs to be utilized.
More than once a year.
And there's a moneymaker there. It's just got to take some vision to get things going. And basically, that's what we're trying to do. We've come up with a program. We want to try it out, get the response from the people who participate with us, and go from there.
Well, thank you so much for your presentation, and most of all for wanting to increase tourism in our county. I know Mr. Crosswhite has recently just helped put on a car show, and his passion is evident of wanting to help our community, and so I applaud both of you for that and for your leadership. So my question is then, you would have a person standing in front of a golf ball with the thing that you hit the golf with the club, and they would go to hit it, and then there's somebody with a gun waiting to aim at it to shoot it out of its way to get to the target?
That is right. It's
That's
a
the concept.
Okay.
offense, defense type of a program. If you're the golfer, you're going to pick what target you're going to go to, and you will announce that to that team. There will be a safety person behind each, the golfer and the shotgun, along with certified range officers being there. Okay? So the position, the shotgun is on the main front line. A few steps back is the golfer. There will be a division between them,
Golfer, shooter.
kind of like this, with a division between us. I'll tee off and, of course, tell them where we're going. And once we do that, then he takes over and he tries to get my ball. And again, 3 safety people, 1 behind each player. And
Not an awful sight.
Butch is a certified range officer, and he's bringing in more for us for the entire event. Hopefully, we will have 40 teams.
Have
If
you
we-
had any teams pre-signed up?
We have not done that yet. It will go as soon as we find out.
If you're approved?
We have to keep going. The city, the Rotary, this, that, and that's fine. We want to do that. We just want to be part of the community and show that we're willing to help. Okay?
We
If
also
we're,
want to do it right.
yes,
Well, I thank you, gentlemen. I guess, I just want to immediately address a few issues that come to mind. I know that you did approach the Rotary Club and wanted to partner with them, and I applaud you for that because I think that would be the best partnership to partner with an existing event, and I know you tried to do that. I believe their advertisements were already printed, and so it was kind of too late to get maybe on their agenda for the day. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it went. And I think you went to the town of Estancia, and then they said, well, this is in the county, so now you guys are in front of us. I have several concerns because I know we're going to be shooting cannons that day with pumpkins, and
Yes.
so it's not that I'm against shooting, it's just one is traffic. Everybody will kind of be coming up 55, which is all in the same general direction. We'll have cannons being shot here and golf balls being shot on the opposite direction. But my question is, we have a lot of people and children that are going to be on this side of the street. And then we have homes on the other side by the Legion. And then to the other direction, I think we have some open land. I don't know if there's any livestock out there, but I just don't know that if it's a good fit safety-wise at the same time that we have so many people of the general public at the pumpkin chunkin'. So those are my initial concerns, and I know that the Rotary Club wants to maybe become a 2-day event to where maybe this is something that they can do on day 2. And but that's just my immediate thoughts, and I'd like my fellow commissioners to go ahead with their questions as well so that we can give this the proper consideration that it deserves.
The other thing is that it is starting at 1, and Pumpkin Chunkin' also starts at 1. Maybe if it started at 4:30 or 5 when Pumpkin Chunkin' was winding down and people were kind of needing something else to do where they could move from this spot and move over, that would be something to consider. The American Legion, you mentioned food. Is there also going to be beer there too?
American Legion will serve the food and beverages. There will be no one allowed onto our field that ain't come anywhere near a drink.
No alcohol.
Just thinking beer, golf club, and guns isn't a good mix, so.
They don't mix, and that's one reason why we have the range officers and things like that.
Well, normal. I'm not against this happening. I just don't think that the day is the appropriate day. I think that there's way too many people, and it's, once again, we just were lectured earlier of somebody getting shot in the football stadium, we surely don't want to add to our complications here. Like I said, I think it's a great idea, and I feel that, you know, another weekend or going back to Rotary and doing joint forces with them next year to either do it at a 5 o'clock where the day can kind of flow longer, or to do it the next day events. I mean, that's something that I would consider, but I don't have a good feeling about it being on the same day and at the same time when all those people are there.
Anyone else?
What kind of shot are you using?
We will have a variety of shot. 4, 6, we'll put in 7.5. And the shooters will rate the types of shot that we use. This is best, this is second, whatever. And that will determine how we handle what the next ones are.
Will they all be using the same gauge?
We have 2 gauges that we're going to work with. A 12 gauge, and if we have anyone that wants to shoot something a little bit lighter, we will authorize 20 gauge.
Like my fellow commissioners, I agree that Rotary has worked substantially through the years to build this as a charity fundraiser, the pumpkin chunking. I would like to see, you know, maybe instead of starting at the same time, that maybe you started of the evening or something, to where they would have the opportunity to draw the crowd that they annually draw to. I don't think it would be much, but I do believe it seems like you may be riding on the coattails. I'd love to see you know, work it together. And I know that you approached Rotary, and Rotary had already had the flyers and everything, and it was too late. But they've expressed that they are interested in combining the two, you know, perhaps for maybe next year.
Well, there are those possibilities. Now, I'd like to address the concerns.
Please do.
Your first concern, it's on Pumpkin Chunkin' Day. That brings you a lot of people. With the parade and the Shriners coming,
There'll be more people.
there will be more people. And they'll be coming for us. Okay? We're at 2 different locations. I believe we're how far? A mile?
About a month.
About a mile on west. There are, as I understand, only 3 houses anywhere within that mile. We will be shooting opposite direction. We will be shooting to the southeast. Timing. Unfortunately, you don't have a lot of light that particular day. And by the time we get to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 5:30,
Sun in your eyes.
sun is in your eyes, or it's getting dark, and no one can see what they're doing. And that's why the timing. Yes, we did go with the American Legion because they're right on that property. Mr. Dial is part of that group. And again, we can wait, but if we wait, all bets are off. Who knows what's going to happen? Will we really want to do this in Torrance County? We want to get it started here. And because of the timing of what was happening with the Shriners, and of course, we know that the pumpkin Shriner, we're not here to try to take away anything.
No, but we want to enhance it.
We want to enhance this. That's why it's important to us to do it on October 20th. You're already bringing in a crowd. We're going to bring in a crowd. Once you're exposed, this will stand on its own, and people will come back. And it's just like if you watch golf tournaments, they start off one day, and then they finish up the next day or whatever. this is something that we would do eventually, start on Saturday, finish on a Sunday. You're going to have shoot-offs. In other words, just see who's going to be the grand champion and all of those things. So I hope I've answered those questions for you. Tommy, anything else?
The biggest thing that comes to my mind once again, and I can't hit on it hard enough, we did not want to conflict with Rotary at all. I went to Rotary 2 months before the meeting and asked to be on the agenda, and there was a conflict that we couldn't make. It was on their part. They had a field trip or something or other. We couldn't make their meeting, so we had to go to the second one. At that time, I don't recall the programs being finished. The draft was there. We met on Wednesday. They got back with us on the following Monday. And that's when we went to the town because we didn't know. And so we went to the town as a backup plan. And so that was where that came from. And then once we found out we were already with the town, we said, well, we have an alternative site. Well, why are you doing it this way, this day? Why would anybody come to a standstill if it's not pumpkin jumping or something going on? There's really no reason. I mean, that's reality, and it's sad. We're trying to change that. If we can get this thing established, it's going to draw as well as the Pumpkin Fest. I honestly believe it will. We have had one Sunday we went out and tried this at the Pumpkin Fest, and it is absolutely hilarious. Once you see it, I mean, your face is going to hurt. This is great. But that was the reason. There was no conflict. There still is no conflict intended. Our Rainbow Girls, everybody, is going to be at the Pumpkin Fest. Our experience has been, a lot of times people come, they watch them fire off 4 or 5 pumpkins, they go home. Well, they still got their door, or their entry fee and everything, that's fine. That's the nature of it, that's how it's supposed to work. A lot of these guys go home. Well, I'm sure that these Shriners are going to probably go and watch Pumpkin Fest. And there's going to be the ones, yeah, they're going to watch them fire 4 or 5 of them, that's fine. Let's go down here and try this. So they go down there, they do their deal, they're done. What's to say they're not going to come back? I think the 2 of them are going to enhance each other. We did hear the concerns of the Rotary Club, and there's a lot of merit to them. You know, they're not wrong. They came up with some really good ideas that I thought were going to fly. We didn't even think about it. They wanted to put us in the same direction with the Cannons and put the 2 together. We thought that was going to work. Would have been ideal. But evidently some concerns once again. And that's okay. It's absolutely okay. But this alternative plan is just something to get it off the ground. And we've heard rattling in the bushes that somebody else is planning to do the same thing. This has been me and Ken's brainchild for 1.5 years, 2 years. A friend of mine sent me a video, I looked at it, I laughed my head off, and I said, you know what, I'll do something with this. And this man is the resource. He's got an imagination that will not quit. But I think this is a real good thing, and I think if we don't jump on it, we're going to lose it. And the statute doesn't need it.
So
We do not need to lose anything else.
why couldn't you pick another weekend? I mean, don't do it on the weekend of Pumpkin Chunkin'. If you're saying you're gonna bring your own crowd to come and do this, then do a test run and bring your own crowd and do it, you know, first weekend of November, get it out here, get it planted to where, you know, you've got your first, you know, you've shot at it and see how it goes, and then partner up with Rotary next year.
That's possible, but the potentate had he had asked specifically to bring the shrine out here that day. He wants to see pumpkin jumping. That was the number one thing. This was planned a year ago. He said, I want to make my official visit the day that they're launching the pumpkins. I got to see that. I've never seen it. I want to see it. So that's the reason why they're coming that day. That was planned, like I say, when our club was established a year ago. The biggest reason, once again, there is no reason to come to a standstill. There is no reason, and if it's just the Shriners, there's going to be 40, 50 of them. That's not really enough to warrant it. I don't think, it's not going to take any of the youth, anything from Pumpkin Chunkin' What it's gonna take is the ones basically, yeah, they like to go out there and see it, but they want something different, you know. I don't think it'll hurt a thing. I think it'll enhance it, I really do, because there's a lot of people coming out here. And golfers, I'm not a golfer, but I've heard they spend a lot of money when they go to the ranges in town and everything. I don't know why we can't have some of that out here. I think it's important. But that's the biggest reasoning for this weekend. We don't particularly like it either. But we talked about Old Timers Day. Town said no. It's understandable. Here go County Fair again. There's just, we needed to concentrate more within the city limits for County Fair. The County Fair it's in trouble, you know. We can all see that. That was the reasoning why I did what I did. But this thing, the Rotary's pumpkin chunking has got its own crowd, and nobody's going to sway it. I'll guarantee it. I see faces that I've seen every single year. They keep coming back year after year. I don't think we're going to affect that at all.
And I'm not saying that you're gonna affect the crowd. I'm saying that there's gonna be too much of a crowd to have that crowd plus what you're doing with guns. So I'm saying, I'm not worried that you're gonna pull their crowd. That's not, I do pumpkin chunk and I've done it for the last 6 years with my concession stand. You're not gonna pull them.
Right.
Those people that are coming out are there to watch the pumpkins fly. The concern is the traffic, the amount of people that are gonna be out here on that day with guns going off a mile down the road.
You want to address any of it?
Yeah, on the safety end of it, the officers that I work with and are trained with, they're trained to look for people walking across the range, balloons flying across the range, and when we holler cease fire, the gun is dischambered, you know, shell ejected, it's laid on the table, and it's hands off until it's clear again. But once we holler cease fire, nobody better shoot right in there or they're fined heavily. I get fined, and this all comes from the people I work with. They don't have anything to do with this, even though I'm there, I will still get fined because I'm out there.
So here's my question, because I've been out there when
Right.
they fire those pumpkins, and it's loud.
Right.
And I don't know if you're gonna be able to hear the ceasefire over the,
Well, the distance that we're away from the cannons, the pumpkin chucking tank, we will be able to hear that. Or we can use a whistle even. And these high-pitched whistles that the Game and Fish gives us, you'll hear that. And like I say, the safety end of it is totally safe. If there's a animal out there, you can't fire because we buy the animal, we get fined. You know, so I'm not gonna get fined, I guarantee you. These guys can, but I ain't.
I think it'll happen to me.
Well, thank you, Mr. McGee. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I just have the utmost respect for the Shriners, for Mr. Crosswhite, for your passion to increase tourism, and for you wanting to make a great day for your president to come out and show off our great county. But at this point, I haven't seen it practiced. There's not a safety record for me to reference to know that it is safe, and I just know that there's a bunch of kids out there and cannons going off, and I'm just not comfortable with that many people right across the street. I know that it would be a great partnership, but with it not being a partnership, I just feel like you guys are gonna be shooting across the street, and I'm not comfortable with that, and I hate to disappoint you, but at this point, I hope you guys will come back another time or do it another day and make this as big as Pumpkin Chunkin' and have your own parade, and maybe we can help you sponsor something like that. But at this point, I'm just not comfortable with it, and I'm sorry because I hate to say that, but that's just where I'm at. Mr. Freiberger?
I agree that I would like to see it another day or to work in partnership with the Pumpkin Chunkin'. I think, you know, if you guys were working together with them, even if you had it in the same area, you know, you would each be conscious of what the other one was doing, and it would be more of a partnership. And I would rather see you come back with Rotary and be that partnership.
Would Rotary possibly let you showcase your event, like in between a break, so that your president isn't disappointed in his visit and we don't make you feel like we don't embrace your event, but possibly it's not on the flyer, but you advertise it, and maybe during a break you can show the people what you want to do and what will be available for next year's event?
That's basically what we were asking for. If you get right down to it, that's what we want. And they basically said no. It's a trial run. I mean, we want to see if it's even feasible, period. We don't know if it is.
But no, just as a part of their day, that you can just do a demonstration to say, look for flyers to come, because this is what's going to happen next year. Not that you're down the road set up doing it, but during their event, to take a half hour, 45 minutes when, you know, they're not launching, to go out there and do a presentation for this time.
They didn't indicate that they would do that.
Yeah, they didn't indicate any interest in that at all. That was basically the gist of it, is that we wanted to partner with them and try to get this thing off the ground with them. Because, you know, I think that probably the guys that go out to pumpkin jumping, they'll probably be there an hour, turn around, go home. You know, it's a sad deal. It's a real sad deal. And like I say, there's not, we're going to have to put it off another year. You know, because there is no reason to come to a standstill. This is what we're trying to rectify. This is a long-term goal. You know?
Well, and I
And it's
disagree
sad,
with that,
you know.
because there's a lot of reasons to come to Estancia, and you would just be enhancing that reason to come to Estancia if you were to do your own and promote your own, to say, look at where can you do, you know, the event that you're doing. You can't go anywhere and do that. So to pick another weekend and say, hey, put flyers out, let the community know, I'm sure you'll get a lot of guys that don't golf but hunt and would love to shoot golf ball. And you got a lot of guys that live out here that do golf but don't hunt, and I think you would pull, I think you'd be surprised at the amount of locals that you would pull to do your own event. And then you could really enhance Estancia and give people another reason to come here.
We've been down that avenue, and it's the same thing. The consensus from Albuquerque is, I don't want to drive out there for that. You know, there needs to be something else, you know, in case it doesn't fly, or whatever we'd like to have. It's a long ways, you know, they think it's a long ways out here. But if I have done it, I have sat back and I have looked at the town and said, even though, you know, I've been here since 1970, and I'm proud that I live here, and I want to be buried here. But you sit back and look at it, there really is no reason to come. We have no motels, we have no facilities. We've got, you know, 4 pretty nice restaurants. You know, that's the town. There's not much to come from.
Well, my recommendation would be that you maybe go back to Rotary and see if there is not a spot on here that they would give you an allotment of, you know, 30 minutes to where you could be right in front of the crowd shooting that direction and showcase what you're wanting to bring here. And this way you're at least putting an idea in people's minds of what's to come, so that when they do see the flyers, then they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Okay, the other issue is the insurance. The
Insurance?
30-minute show, is it worth it? I mean,
Yeah, for 30 minutes, our
The insurance
insurance,
is high.
our insurance is costing us between $15 and $20 per entry. That's our insurance, because we want to be protected.
we have
We want to protect the people that come out to see us. We have to do those things. So, for just 30 minutes, by the time you do everything, I don't know. The parade.
We got parade going, we got breakfast going, so,
Okay.
yeah, it's just, yeah,
Okay.
but,
We presented it to you. We thank you for your opinions. And we'll see you down the road here sometime.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, and I will encourage you to get back in touch with Rotary, and I hope that we can make something happen, and I know that I'm going to talk to the board members that I know and see if they would consider showcasing you for half an hour. I mean, I don't want to see your idea go away.
I don't think we can afford it. Like I say, insurance-wise, I don't think we can pull it off. Because now, we've done hundreds and hundreds of hours on this. This is not something we threw together overnight. We have talked to our insurance people, we've talked to the shrine, we've talked to the mayor. I mean,
All over the state.
we've been all over the state, and this is not a fly-by-night thing. We want to turn it into a long-term goal if we can afford it, and if we don't get politics to death, is we want to turn it into a statewide thing. That's what the long-term goal is. We want to start it here, we want to end it. We want to have the startup in the spring and the finals here in the fall. We got to have a reason to get it off the ground. And I think just calling people out here, we've tried it. But we took the Sunday and we went out here and I begged people. We had 4 people show up. And that was it.
Well, you do have next year, if you decide not to try again with Rotary, I know they want to partner with you next year, so please don't lose hope in the good work that you do want to do.
I just hope it doesn't die between now and next year or somebody takes it, because that's the thing. We don't have a lot of money to work with, and what we're afraid of is the people that are looking at it have lots of money. So, that is a big, big problem. Kim and I are doing this out of the goodness of our hearts and out of our back pockets. And, a little bit of help from the shrine, and that's it. We make it fly, it's good. And if we lose it, it's gone. So, because I don't think we can recover. But we appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Cody?
I'm not going to say I'm for this or against it. It does bring up an issue. Of course, recently on gun issues in the county. And so my question is, the number of people they project to have down the road eventually, what is the effect this going to have on people that live here? In other words, do the citizens already in Torrance County, want it? Because, our main concern is for the people here. As they live, where they live, the people that pay taxes here now. And, my concern is that it was never mentioned how the impact would be to the people that live here while this is going on. And of course, with the demonstration, this is only part of the picture. It might work well as a demonstration, but, if it's too successful, if you want to call it that, maybe down the road, you'll get the same kind of problems you have in SAS. And so you have to keep that in mind, and I think the people who present that need to come back and to present an impact study of that. And the other thing is, if you do approve it even then you need careful documentation of what they cannot and can do, and make sure it doesn't get lost. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mine.
Yes, ma'am.
Mary and Andy. I would like to second that, because as they were talking about that, I thought about SAS, which I live next to, and I think about, there were no studies about how that's going to impact neighbors, as you all heard. And so if you invest in something like that, it's going to be loud. It's not just 3 houses are going to hear it. So if you, keep that into consideration as you make decisions on that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other comment? Okay. Mr. Shaw?
My name is Julia Deshawn. And I was listening to these people very carefully. And they say they can bring the crowd. And they say they can, and then they say they can. And I think with their crowd, they will scare another crowd, people who want to participate, who want to come to Pumpkin Chunkin. And those are people with kids who want to go with kids to the place where shooting will be nearby. I think it is not good idea to combine those events. If they can bring their crowd, so let them during another time. And also, if even 3 houses will be affected,
That's 3 houses.
three families there will be affected also. So I don't think it is a good idea.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you, everyone, for your comments.